If you're watching this, chances are you may be planning a move. Maybe you've been planning to purchase a new home, or you've had a second property for a while which you haven't used as much. So you've been planning a sale. But through a variety of potential circumstances, such as an increase in demand for rentals, you might now be considering it's time to start investing in real estate instead, specifically by converting your primary residence to a rental property. Converting your primary residence to a rental property comes with several great benefits, but there are also some things that are important to know in making that shift. That includes the pros and cons, how to actually make the conversion, tax tips and laws that are important to keep in mind, and some other frequently asked questions. We'll cover each of those points below, but let's start with why you'd want or not want to convert your primary residence into a rental property in the first place. When you think of converting your primary residence into a rental, the first thing that likely comes to mind is cash flow. After all, whether you've already invested in rental properties before or not, that's an additional property bringing in additional cash each month. That's certainly the biggest pro of converting, but there's more to it than just that. In addition, there are also some cons you should consider before making the leap. So let's talk about those now before we get into the how. One pro is tax deductions. If you've ever owned a business before, owning a property is a lot like that. There are different types of rental properties, but we'll assume you're talking about a single-family property used as a primary residence. There's an assortment of deductions you can claim on your taxes to reduce your tax liability on that property. Examples include maintenance and repairs, property management fees, advertising, legal fees, and travel. Income for a rental property needs to be reported on IRS Form 1040 Schedule E, as well as any deductions you're taking. Just make sure you're crossing your T's, as you don't want to get in trouble with Uncle Sam. If you're uncertain, consider working with a real estate attorney to make sure you're doing things right. And if you need specific legal advice, consider talking to a lawyer or real estate manager to answer any questions you may have. If you're not accustomed to how this works, think of it this way. If you make $50,000 in annual rental income, but you can deduct $15,000 in expenses, your actual taxable rental income would just be $35,000. Similarly, there are other tax benefits you can take advantage of by converting a primary residence to a rental, such as the ability to claim depreciation expenses. So, how does this work? Well, according to the IRS, you can claim depreciation on a property for up to 27.5 years. That means every year you divide the value of the property minus the value of the land, as that doesn't count, by 27.5 to get the deductible amount. Let's look at an example. Your property is valued at $350,000. Now, this needs to be the value at the time of the conversion of the property, keep in mind. The value of the land is $50,000, which is a bit high, but makes doing the math a little easier for example's sake. That means $300,000 of the property's value is depreciable. You then divide $300,000 by 27.5 to get your depreciable amount, which equals $10,909. Why is this great? If the income on your rental property for that year after deductions was $35,000, you could then further deduct that $10,909 in depreciation expense. That would then further reduce your tax burden down to $24,000. Another pro is diversifying your cash flow and supplementing your income. This is by far the first benefit most mention when they think of owning a rental property, and it's no surprise why. The ability to have one or more properties generating rental income each month, properties which just require some regular upkeep and maintenance, is attractive. Not only that, but for most, rental income diversifies their income and investment portfolio as well, affording a healthier overall financial situation. In addition, rental property investing has proven itself over the decades as reliable in virtually any market, so it's not just a solid source of additional income, but a sound one as well. However, one con is that managing a rental takes work. While hugely beneficial, something that can't be overlooked is the fact that managing a rental takes time and effort. There's things like looking for tenants, setting up and doing showings, signing the lease, moving in your new tenants, regular inspections to maintain the condition of your property, and unexpected events such as repairs. Fortunately, much of this work can be semi-automated or at least made much easier by using property management software. DoorLoop, for example, gives you access to features such as automated listings to make looking for tenants easier, e-leasing tools to make the leasing process a breeze, maintenance management tools that streamline work orders between you, your contractors, and tenants, and more. Managing a property still takes work, but with software, you can greatly minimize the work involved in managing your property. Now, just a disclaimer, I work for DoorLoop, and this video was produced by DoorLoop. Another con is that you'll need to budget for property-related expenses. While highly profitable if done right, managing a property requires you to set aside for property-related expenses. That can include insurance, maintenance and repairs, and legal fees. While the rent you bring in from the property should more than cover all of these expenses, you can end up in a tricky spot if you don't prepare in advance for handling these fees. That's especially true in the case of maintenance, which is often unexpected. Now, let's talk about tips for actually converting your property into a rental. Assuming you've carefully weighed the pros and cons and are ready to start renting out your property, there are a few steps to converting that property into a rental. However, there's a lot of potential detail depending on your situation, so it may be best to speak with a real estate attorney to make sure you're taking any necessary steps beyond this to convert it properly. The first step is to check with your lender to see if you can use your mortgage for a rental property. This step is key because while some lenders offer provisions allowing said mortgage to be used for either a primary residence or rental, some don't. It all depends on the mortgage you have and your lender. So you'll need to check with your lender to confirm either way. If your mortgage doesn't allow it, you'll need to look into options for investment property loans to refinance the property as a rental. The second step is to add landlord liability insurance. You'll need to obtain this if you're converting the property to a rental. However, the good news is this is typically an easy step that simply requires a quick call to your property insurance provider. The third step is to apply for licenses and permits. Like the steps above, this one is unique to your situation, specifically your local state and city laws. Each area is different, with some requiring you as the landlord to collect the rental tax or another similar policy. Make sure to check with your local Chamber of Commerce or state office to be absolutely sure you're following your local laws and not general information you read online. The fourth step is to prep the property. It's a step that's easy to overlook. You want to start thinking about what an attractive rental property looks like and what you need to fix up around the property to get it into the condition it needs to be in before renting. This could mean minor fixes around the house or more significant changes. In either case, you'll want to focus on making the property full functioning, meaning nothing is broken or needs fixing. You'll also want to focus on making the property clean and visually attractive. Beyond this, you'll need to calculate and decide on a fair market rent rate, as well as set up a process for screening tenants and completing the lease. With that in mind, the fifth step, a vital one, is to get software to manage your property. This reason is so important because of how many moving parts there are to property management. Property management involves marketing, accounting, leasing, maintenance and repairs, communication, and legal-related tasks. That's a lot, but it becomes way more manageable with a good property management tool on your side. For example, DoorLoop offers things like automatic listings, which make it easier to keep your properties and units filled the moment they become vacant, a full chart of accounts, automatic rent payments, a convenient portal where tenants can pay rent and more, QuickBooks Online integration, a complete suite of screening and e-leasing tools, maintenance management tools that make the entire process simpler, and a tenant portal, streamlined communication tools, and more. And that's just for starters. The result is a streamlined, simplified, and more stress-free property management experience from beginning to end. To see what DoorLoop can do for you, schedule a free demo. Click the link on the description below for more information. See how DoorLoop can simplify your property management efforts. That's it for this video. If you want more real estate content for your business, make sure you check out our YouTube channel for more DoorLoop videos, such as the best property management apps all managers need and the top apartment listing sites for your rentals. Remember to like this video, share it, and of course, subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.